Defeat is a destiny written for almost every single one of us. You know, we all fail, we all break. But what if one man proved that absolute truth to be a complete lie? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're not just looking at a story. We're dissecting a terrifying study in absolute psychological dominance. Imagine a sport where just one punch can alter the course of your entire life. A place where the strongest, fastest, literally the most lethal human beings on the planet are trying to break your bones. And in that cage, one man walked in 29 times and walked out undefeated.
So, let's really dive into this. 29 wins, 0 losses, 13 fights in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Get this, across his entire career, he lost only 2 rounds. 2! He took his opponents to the ground 59 times and was taken down only twice himself. That's not just a record, guys. That's a statistical anomaly. The world constantly expected Khabib Nurmagomedov to lose. But he didn't just win. He turned the most dangerous sport on earth into a one-sided joke. He completely broke their will to fight. How? By making discipline an inescapable compulsion.
Section 1. The myth of motivation. We're looking at exactly why discipline will always crush motivation.
All right, we need to shatter our massive illusion right now. Motivation is just a fairy tale told to keep ordinary people comfortable. Amateurs, they wait for motivation, but true champions rely on cold, hard discipline. Look at this harsh mirror of the ordinary mindset. Be honest, you probably always leave yourself an exit, right? When the work gets hard, what do? You grab your phone. You open a new tab. You binge a show. You've always got an excuse ready. The weather's bad, your head hurts, you're just not in the right mood. But Khabib never trusted his mood. His father built an environment where there was literally no other option. The doors were locked, no escape, no plan B.
As our sources point out, when you have no way out, your performance naturally goes to the highest level. Let that sink in for a second. Winning wasn't a fun hobby for Khabib. It was pure survival. It was the direct product of closing every single exit door in his life. If you want to survive, you absolutely must eliminate your safety nets.
Moving on to Section 2, No Way Out. It's time to eliminate those safety nets.
So how do we actually turn this into reality? Well, if you want to kill your laziness today, the data clearly shows you've got to purge your escape routes. Look at this distraction purge. Number 1, those time-wasting apps on your phone. Just delete them. Number 2, the toxic people holding you back. Cut the cord. Number 3, those weak habits making you soft. Eradicate them completely. The research tells us we have to set a non-negotiable block of time for deep work. A time where even if the sky is literally falling, your focus remains totally unbroken.
Listen to me very carefully here. While you're resting, while you're just endlessly scrolling on your screen, someone else is sweating. Someone else is out there preparing to take your spot. And hey, this isn't some cheap motivational cliche. It's a terrifying reality. The book Relentless states it perfectly. The moment you rest, someone else takes your place. Khabib lived with this burning fear. He didn't just train for one fight. He trained for his entire life. When you procrastinate, you are basically sending an open invitation for your enemy to destroy you.
Section 3. The practice of pain. Why mental limitations always come first.
But you've got to wonder, how did he become so different? Because hard work is pretty common, right? Greatness is not. The answer lies in the practice of pain. You see, limitations are mental long before they ever become physical. Yes, you are reading that right. 9 years old. Most kids are playing with toys. But days before his birthday, his father put him in front of a literal wild bear cub to test his courage. This wasn't just physical training. It was the systematic execution of fear itself. He was taught to stare right into the eyes of a monster and hold his ground.
And this brilliantly illustrates the concept of deliberate strain, which is explored in the book Peak. Khabib's greatest weapon actually wasn't his technique. It was his unnatural tolerance for pain. Think about swimming in freezing rivers, running up sheer mountains, wrestling the absolute most dangerous men on earth twice a day. True practice is not repeating what feels comfortable. True practice is deliberately putting yourself in absolute agony until your limits shatter.
This framework gives us a really clear challenge. When your mind begs you to stop, when your lungs are burning and your brain is screaming enough, push exactly 10% further. Just 10%. Take that cold shower. Work 10 more minutes. Suffer just 10% more. Because that extra 10%, that is the exact location where greatness is forged.
Section 4. Weaponizing your emotions. It's all about mastering your mind.
But look, physical pain is really only half the battle. The real war, the war where most ordinary people instantly surrender, is fought entirely inside the mind. It's about emotional mastery. Look at these two faces and be honest with yourself. Are you the two-faced amateur? In the morning, you're a hero. You're going to conquer the world. But by nightfall, you surrender to your laziness and just collapse on the couch. Khabib had no alternate persona. He didn't try to act disciplined. Discipline was his identity. He was the exact same person 24 hours a day. And honestly, until you stop playing a character for a few hours and make discipline your core identity, you're always going to be vulnerable.
Think about it. How easily do you lose your temper? Someone insults you and your blood just boils, right? You become a slave to your emotions. But look at Khabib. Opponents like Conor McGregor attacked his religion. They insulted his family. They literally mocked his country. They attacked a bus. They wanted him to absolutely lose his mind. But Khabib remained silent. As the 48 Laws of Power teaches, always say less than necessary. His silence wasn't a sign of weakness. It was his deadliest, most terrifying weapon. He knew for a fact that those who talk the most are usually hiding the most fear.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this 3-second rule. Internalize it today. When you're under pressure, just take 3 seconds. Slow your breathing, slow your decisions. Do not let your anger destroy you. Instead, let your absolute silence become the ultimate punishment for your enemies. Let your actions scream so loudly they drown out every single word.
Section 5. Victory in the shadows. This is where the real battle happens.
Because the truth is, the spotlight is an illusion. The main event is just a magic trick. The true victory, the actual real battle, is decided in the dark, brutal isolation of the shadows. If you think you can just magically turn it on when the lights are bright, well, you've already lost. The book The Art of Learning calls this investment in loss. Khabib and his 10 teammates camped in the brutal mountains of Dagestan. They lived together, they ate together, and behind closed doors, they mercilessly pushed each other to absolute failure. Khabib would purposely wrestle heavier, much stronger men and get tired, just to expose his own flaws.
The whole philosophy really boils down to this. Bleed in the practice room so you never bleed in the cage. You must work with such sheer desperation in the shadows that by the time your head hits the pillow, your eyes close from absolute, utter exhaustion. By the time Khabib stepped under the bright lights, he had already fought 100 harder battles in the dark. He was literally invincible before the bell even rang.
And finally, Section 6. Burning your boats. This is the ultimate law. We arrive at the very root of all this power. Because discipline without a foundation, it will eventually crack. Every time. But Khabib had roots that money and fame could never corrupt. Today you see people sell their souls for a little bit of fame. They get a little money and totally forget who they are. Not Khabib. His power came from his deep foundation. The teachings of his father, his unshakable faith, the harsh streets of Dagestan. He fought to show his people a true path, away from crime and towards greatness. When your intentions aren't just for yourself but for your people, your power multiplies 100-fold.
And because of this incredibly solid foundation, he had absolutely zero tolerance for complaints. Let me give you an example. Early in his career, he tore a knee ligament. Opponents pulled out right before the fights. Average people would cry, right? They'd say, oh, I didn't get the opportunity, the resources aren't there. Khabib didn't even flinch. He just said, just tell me who my opponent is. If the weight is right, I'll fight King Kong. Complaining is a disease of the weak. True champions don't cry about their circumstances. They literally bend the circumstances to their will.
Which brings us to the ultimate law of absolute success. Burn the boats. Average people always keep the door cracked open. They love having a plan B. But the rulers of this world, the true champions who carve their names into the pages of history, they burn the boats. They completely destroy their escape routes. They make winning the only option for survival. Because when you absolutely refuse to stop, the entire universe becomes your weapon.
Every single day is a blank page. You cannot write an extraordinary story with ordinary actions. So I have to ask you, look at your life right now. What is the one terrifying task you are running from? What is the thing you are most afraid to face? What is your bear today? Hunt it down. The choice is yours. Exactly. 5 viral YouTube titles. The terrifying truth about Khabib's 29-0 mindset. Why you are failing and how champions actually think. The 9-year-old who fought a bear. Anatomy of an elite mindset. Burn the boats. The dark psychology of absolute success. Stop relying on motivation. Do this instead. Khabib's secret. Exactly. One emotional YouTube description. Motivation is a lie told to ordinary people to keep them comfortable. The brutal, terrifying truth is that while you are scrolling on your phone, making excuses about your mood or the weather, someone else is outworking you. In this powerful explainer, we break down the inescapable, ruthless discipline of Khabib Nurmagomedov's legendary 29-0 career. From fighting a wild bear at age 9 to weaponizing his silence against the world's most dangerous fighters, we reveal the psychological blueprints of absolute dominance. It's time to stop complaining, burn your escape routes, and face your bear. Watch this before you waste another day of your life. Exactly. SEO keywords. Khabib Nurmagomedov's mindset, extreme discipline, 29-0 UFC, how to build discipline, motivational documentary, burn the boats, David Goggins mindset, stop being lazy, conquer your fear, deliberate strain, emotional mastery, success psychology, Sigma male mindset, stoicism in sports, mental toughness training. Exactly. Trending hashtags. Khabib Nurmagomedov mindset, discipline, motivation, mental toughness, success, MMA, UFC, burn the boats, no excuses. Exactly. Thumbnail text ideas. They are outworking you. The 29-0 mindset. Why you keep failing. Burn the boats. Motivation is a lie. Exactly. Background music suggestions. Intro slides 1 to 5. Slow, ominous cinematic drone building suspense and a sense of an impossible reality. Middle slides 6 to 16. Intense, pulsing rhythmic beats like a ticking clock representing the passage of time and the terrifying truth of competitors outworking you. Climax slides 17 to 23. Epic, sweeping orchestral rise with heavy percussion symbolizing the burning of the boats and absolute resolve. Outro slide 24. Sudden silence followed by a single deep bass drop leaving a haunting, unforgettable emotional impact. Exactly. Best voice tone suggestion for narration. Start with a serious, grounded, and slightly ominous whisper, like a veteran telling a war story. As the script progresses into the terrifying truth, shift to a direct, confrontational, and commanding tone. Use heavy dramatic pauses, let the terrifying truths breathe. By the climax, burn your boats. The voice should be explosive, passionate, and deeply emotional, finally dropping to a cold, piercing whisper for the final question, what is your bear today?